Your favorite sport channel here on YouTube. This is Ralph from VAR, and as you know already, we do football or soccer. Some people may choose to term it. We do predictions, we do pre-game and post-game analysis. We talk about interviews, banter, and then trolls. So stay tuned as we are going to delve into game week 5 of most of the leagues across Europe. A very lovely good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, depending on what time of the day you are watching. So, as you already know, we are sponsored by Velida Rose Realty. Velida Rose Realty is an expert when it comes to real estate in the SDG area. If you are looking to relocate to areas like Cornwall, Hawkesbury, Alexandria, Van Cleek Hill, Lancaster, and Co., your one-stop person to talk to is Velida Rose Realty. She has all the best deals for you. She's going to help you. She has all the patience to take you through what you need to go through in order to own a home here in the SDG area. You can reach her on 416-317-5777. Take that number again, 416-317-5777. So, all right, let's delve into business. Over the weekend, we had some games played across Europe in most of the major leagues in Europe. England, you have the Spanish La Liga. There is also the Bundesliga, the Italian Serie A, and all the other interesting leagues. But we are going to touch on some of the interesting games that did happen over the weekend. We did make some predictions if you go back to our previous episode. Some did go through, some didn't go through, but you know, that is football. Yes, you don't get it as you wish. All right, so the first game we are going to talk about is the Liverpool versus Everton game, which I did call for a win for Liverpool, though it was a derby and I thought it would be difficult for Liverpool. But looking at the form they are in this season, I thought they were going to win, and it was no surprise they were able to get a win in that game where they scored 2 goals and then conceded 1 in that game. So goals were scored by Ryan Gravenberch, Hugo Ekitike, with assists coming from Ryan Gravenberch. And then later on in the game, in the second half, Idris Gana Gay also got 1 back for Everton. So it was a very difficult game. Liverpool, as we all know, they are having a shaky defense this season, and that is something Ancelotti will have to address. Even though they have 100% record, they have conceded in every single game they have played. So going forward, I think Ancelotti will have to find a solution to this problem. Else, though they have ambitions of winning the league, they might have to relinquish that ambition, because to win the league in the United Kingdom, you definitely need to have a very good defense. And the defensive partnership of Konate and then Virgil van Dijk is aging. There are some players where when they are aging, you see the best out of them. Someone like Thiago Silva, someone like the former Real Madrid defender Sergio Ramos. Yes, whilst they were aging, you could see that was when they were even giving their A game. But unfortunately, that's not the narrative for Virgil van Dijk. There are some defensive lapses coming on the way of Liverpool, and so far they have 100% record. They've won all their 5 games in the Premier League. No team seems to be stopping them, but with how things are going, if they don't take care, they might start maybe laughing at the wrong side of their match. So they did win that game, which I did call for a win for them, and it was a close call. They won by 2 goals to 1. As I said, goals coming from Ryan Gravenberch, and that was a well taken goal. It was an assist from Mohamed Salah, and then the second goal from Ekitike, but that assist also came for Ryan Gravenberch. So Ryan Gravenberch was my man of the match. He played exceptionally well in that game, and we're going to see how they are going to go forward. Looking at the remaining games that they have, so far they've won 5 of their games, and so far so good. But they need to fix their defense going forward. The second game we'll look at is Brighton drawing 2-2 at the Amex Stadium to Tottenham Hotspur. So Brighton, they did score first and then got a second goal. First goal came from Yakuba Minte, and then the second goal came for Ayari. And Tottenham were able to pull back even before they went into halftime, with a goal coming from Richarlison and an assist from the Ghanaian Mohamed Kudus. Later on in the second half, Tottenham Hotspur made some changes. They did bring in the Dutch winger Javi Simons coming in and then causing a lot of problems for the Brighton defense over there. And they did get a goal from an own goal from one of the Brighton defenders. So it was a cross from Mohamed Kudus once again. His crosses are so good this season. He's doing so well this season. And he did get a cross in which led to an own goal from one of the Brighton players. So um, we have Tottenham drawing 2-2 with Brighton and Hove Albion at the Amex Stadium. And the third game that was played is the Burnley drawing 1-1 to Nottingham Forest. Yes, so I did call for a draw in that game and then expertly executed. Burnley were able to get a draw in that game. And you also have West Ham United, which was a London derby, which ended in a win for their away team, Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace were able to win that game at the Olympic Stadium in London against West Ham United. West Ham United haven't been doing good this season, and if things are to continue this way, I don't see any other thing than Graham Potter being sacked. Yes, I don't see any other thing than Graham Potter being sacked. So Jean-Philippe Mateta got the first goal for Crystal Palace, and then Jared Bowen was able to pull one back in the 49th minute for West Ham United in that game. Whereas later on in the game, there was an expertly taken goal from the uh, left back Tyreek Mitchell from West Ham, Crystal Palace, where they were able to win that game by 2-1. And that game, if you remember, we called for a win for Crystal Palace, and it did happen. They did win that game by 2 goals to 1. There was also Wolves who haven't even I think they haven't kicked off their season so far because they don't even have a, let's see the table. I don't think they even have a point so far this season. They sat at home at the Molineux and then lost 3-1 to Leeds United, who are a newly promoted team from the championship. I don't see why you should be struggling against a newly promoted team from the championship when you are playing at home. So Wolves, I think they will also need to sack their manager, get in someone who is ready to do the job, and probably keep them in the league. Last season, they escaped relegation just by some few matches left to end the season. And if they are to continue like this, maybe by the end of the first round, they may even get relegated. All right, and then we also had the Manchester United game where they played against Chelsea Football Club at the Old Trafford, and that game was a game to behold. Yes, the game started off with a red card in the early stages of the game where the goalkeeper of Chelsea made a blunder. So I hear a lot of Chelsea fans cursing their team, cursing the manager for not making the right um, not putting in the right men in for the job. But I personally think we should give credit to Ruben Amorim and his boys. Yes, we should give credit to them because they came up with a strategy and they were able to map up all they were able to execute their plans to win that game. Clearly, you could see they were playing for Chelsea to get a red card in that game. They were pushing matters down Chelsea's throat, and that was what they got. So you don't get to say your team didn't play well. Yes, you were expecting better from your team. I'm a Chelsea fan. I was expecting better from my team. But I think credit should be given to Manchester United and Ruben Amorim and his boys because they forced the situation over there. And if you are someone that have watched this channel for the past few um, episode, you remember I told you Ruben Amorim is not too good. Yes, but when it comes to some of these games, that is where he likes to show his arsenals. That's where he likes to show how good he is. Yes, you might say he was not, even though they were a man up for almost the first half, but they couldn't do too good. But they got the results. That's what is needed in football. It's the 3 points that is needed, regardless of the the formation, regardless of how you get the 3 points, is the 3 points that is needed. At the end of the game, they were able to secure the bag. So a 2-1 win for Manchester United over Chelsea, which I did predict. I predicted Manchester United to win the game, and then worst case scenario, the best case for Chelsea is going to be a draw. So I didn't see Chelsea winning this game at all. Even if Chelsea were going to be good in this game, I thought the best was going to be a draw for them, which obviously they couldn't even achieve, but they did lose that game. So later on, there were goals coming in from Bruno Fernandes. So the moment the red card was received, they because they were a man up, they now flanked Chelsea's defense with most of their players where they outweighted them over there. So you could see when they did score that goal, they had almost all their players in the box, and then because they were a man up, they were able to get that goal coming from Ruben Fernandes. One thing I'm going to blame Chelsea for is Enzo Maresca was too rash in taking some of the decisions that he did take in that game. I thought after they had received the red card, he should have calmed down. Yes, taking Esteval out because one man had to be sacrificed to bring in Philip Jorgensen over there. So that was a right call, taking Esteval out because one man had to be sacrificed. And I don't think he should have rushed in taking off Pedro Neto out of that game because at least you needed one or two players who were ball carriers in your team because it was just 4 minutes 5 minutes into the game where you got that card. You had not even conceded from that card. There was a free kick where they couldn't even score from that set piece. So what he should have done, personally, I think he should have done was just take Esteval out, bring in the goalkeeper, reshape the system on the field, and then see how it's going to go. But he quickly rushed, he panicked, and I think that was the undoing of Chelsea. Because the moment he took Esteval out, he took Pedro Neto out, there was no ball carrier. Mind you, Cole Palmer was not 100% fit for this game. And that was why he also had to come out in the 20th minute. So even if you had to take someone out, as a coach, you know Cole Palmer was not 100% fit for this game. Why didn't you rather take Cole Palmer out and then leave um, Pedro Neto in the game? But he gambled wrongly by taking Pedro Neto out, and then some few minutes later, Kopama was not uh, feeling it on the pitch, so he had to come out. And yes, we can blame Enzo Maresca for all that we want, but I personally am going to give the credit to Ruben Amorim. He did a very good job over there. If you listen to the post-game interview, Bruno Fernandes said they did play for that. Yes, they had to force the situation. That was their game plan. They were out there to force the situation to make Chelsea jittery on the pitch and then commit some blunders like what happened on the part of Robert Sanchez. And for Robert Sanchez, I don't know what to say, but I think he should have calmed down at that point. Yes, he should have calmed down. Even the coach did mention that he would have loved conceding a goal at that point rather than going a man down. Yes, because at that point, even I don't think Brian Bremo was going to score that goal. But you taking a foot out, you know what? You are the last man. You know the consequences, and he sillily went to commit that foul that led to a red card. And the rest of the game for me as a Chelsea fan wasn't interesting. Even after Manchester United also considered a red card in the person of Casemiro, but I didn't think we were going to win the game because we didn't have any creator in the game. There was no Kopama, there was no Esteval, there was no Pedro Neto. And when he had to make changes in the second half, I was surprised he didn't bring on Garnacho. Yes, I think Garnacho would have done better than bringing in Tarek George because this is a game Garnacho, I think, has been dreaming of ever since he joined Chelsea, returning to Manchester United and then probably putting on a show over there. So I think Garnacho would have done much more better. He's a lovely ball carrier. He can create chances. He's good at crossing. And you could see João Pedro was suffering in the game. He was the one dropping back in the midfield, carrying the ball. So by the time he's even able to get closer to the box, he gets tired. And it did happen. So it did happen over there, as I did predict for Manchester United to win the game over Chelsea, and it wasn't a surprise. I said the best result for Chelsea was going to be a draw, and it didn't materialize in that game. So we are going to look at what is going to happen in the next game for Chelsea and then Manchester United. And then the last game of the day on Saturday in the Premier League was the Fulham playing against Brentford, which was also a London derby in that game. So Fulham did win 3-1. They considered the first goal from Brentford, but they were able to come back by equalizing with Alex Iwobi in that game, and then later on scoring the winners from Harry Wilson and also from an own goal from Pinnock. Yes, so Everton, sorry, Fulham won against. They did win against Brentford in that game. Let's look at the games that were played on Sunday. That was just yesterday. So on Sunday, we did have some games as well. There were three games in the Premier League. There was the Bournemouth playing against Newcastle United in that game. And Bournemouth, I thought they were going to win this game because Newcastle had played in midweek against Barcelona. So I was thinking that fatigue was going to set in for Newcastle and Bournemouth were going to take advantage of that. But unfortunately, Bournemouth couldn't take advantage of that. The game ended in a stalemate 0-0 scoreless. No one was able to score in the game in that uh, place. And there was also the Sunderland playing against Aston Villa, which also ended in a draw in that game, 1-1. Both teams sharing points in that game. No one was able to take the three maximum points. Sunderland, who are returnees from the championship, um, playing at the Stadium of Light. I don't know if their stadium is still known as the Stadium of Light, but back then, before they went into championship, it used to be called the Stadium of Light. So they were playing against Aston Villa, and they drew 1-1 with Aston Villa. Aston Villa too haven't been doing so good this season. Um, they drew in that game, so we'll see what's going to happen in the subsequent games. And then you have Arsenal drawing 1-1 to Manchester City. Mikel Arteta's boys were able to grabs an equalizer in the 93rd minute, almost when the game was about to be over. So it was in additional time where Gabriel Martinelli came on off the bench and then got an equalizer for Arsenal. Earlier on, Manchester City struck by Erling Haaland with a lovely assist from Tijani Reinders, where in the ninth minute they went ahead and they did hold their horses throughout the game until additional minutes, and where Eberechi Eze was able to give Gabriel Martinelli a very nice assist in that the dying embers of the game. So when you look at Martinelli, so far, I don't know if we are to call him a super sub now. Yes, last season he was a starter, but this season the coach Arteta is going for different personnel up front. He's going for different personnel up front. And so far, Martinelli in the previous game before this one, he came from the bench. He scored a goal, and then in this game as well, he came from the bench and then got the equalizer for Arsenal. So when you look at the table after the uh, 5 games played so far. All teams have played 5 games. You have Liverpool with 100% record. Let's see if they can do the unbeaten, which Arsenal did some time back. Um, let's see if they can do that. They have 5 wins out of 5 games. They have scored 11 and then conceded 5 goals. So they have a goal difference of +5 on the league table. You have Arsenal coming in second, so on 10 points, 5 behind Liverpool. So far, so good for Liverpool. They have been able to stretch the league by 5 points, and there is some catching up to be made by the rest of the teams if they want to give competition in the likes of Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, and co have some catching up to do. Yes, Tottenham Hotspur come in third with 10 points as well. They have won three, drawn one, and then conceded one. So they have scored 10 goals and then conceded three with 7 points. Sorry, with 7 goal difference in there. And there's also Bournemouth with 3 wins, a draw, and then a lose in there. They have 10 points as well. So you have three teams on 10 points. You have Crystal Palace are fifth. They have won two, drawn three. So there are two teams that so far are unbeaten in the league, which is Crystal Palace and then Liverpool. So Crystal Palace are fifth on the log. They have won two games, drawn five, and then lost none. So they have scored six, conceded two, and they have a plus of four in terms of goal difference, and they have 9 points. Chelsea, my darling, my beloved club, have won two. They are sit on the league log. They have won two, they've drawn two, and then they've lost one. With 10 goals scored, five conceded, and then a goal difference of plus five. They have 8 points. Let's see where Manchester City is. Manchester City is eighth. Sorry, they are ninth on the league table with 7 points. You have Manchester United. Um, Manchester United. Why don't I see Manchester United on the table? You have Manchester United. They are 11th on the league table with two wins, a draw, and then two losses as well with 7 points. So that is it for the English Premier League. How the games did end this week. Okay, let's look at some results from the La Liga. The La Liga, as we all know, is the league that is played in Spain. Let's look at some results in the La Liga. In the La Liga, we had the first game of this round over the weekend was the moments. Let's look at what we have over here. So for results in the La Liga, we have Barcelona winning 3-0 against Getafe, and that was an easy win for Barcelona. Some people before this game were saying that Getafe will probably be a hard nut to crack for Barcelona because of some results that have been happening in the past. But Barcelona were able to edge it over Getafe. Elche won 1-0 against Real Oviedo. Mallorca drew 1-1 to Atletico Madrid. I don't know what the problem is with Atletico Madrid, but I think they will have to look at getting a new manager because Diego Simon has been there for over 10 years and it's only two league titles he has to show for that. I think their style of play is becoming archaic, and they'll need to bring in a new manager to change things at Atletico Madrid. So they drew 1-1 against Elche in that against Mallorca, sorry, in that game. You have Rayo Vallecano drawing 1-1 to Celta Vigo. There is Valencia winning 2-0 to Athletic Club de Bilbao. Oh, that's surprising. You have, let's look at Real Madrid's results. Real Madrid also, they did win over the weekend. Yes, they did win 2-0. Mbappe on the score sheet once again. Yes, so I wouldn't be surprised if Mbappe wins the Pichichi this season in the La Liga over there. He's been scoring so far almost in every game that he has played. So on the table, let's look at the standings in the La Liga. So far, Real Madrid are top with a perfect record. They have played 5 games and then they have won all their 5 games with 15 points, 10 goals scored with just two conceded. So as I have been saying, I think that Xabi Alonso is doing a very good job at Real Madrid this season. He's just going so quiet on his job. He's not being so loud. He's not being so um, fascinating about whatever he's doing. He's just going quiet and he's racking up the results. And that was how he did it back in Germany with Leverkusen. He was so quiet doing his thing. And by the time we could say Jack, he had won the league without even losing a game. So I'm not saying he's not going to lose a game this season, but I am tipping Real Madrid to win the league in the La Liga this season because um, the pressure is rather on Barcelona because they won last season. They have all the players, and then they are expecting better from Hans Flick and his men. So I think it has taken pressure away from Real Madrid, and I see them winning the league. So Barcelona come in second with 13 points. They have won 4 games and then drawn one with 16 goals scored and then 3 conceded. You have Villarreal coming in third with 3 games won, one drawn, and then one lost. They have 10 points in there. You have Espanyol with 3 games won, 1 drawn, and then 1 loss. They also have 10 points. Let's look at Athletic Club de Bilbao. They have um, 9 points and they are seventh on the league log. They have won 3 and then they have lost 2. Whereas Atletico de Madrid, they have won just 1 game this season, drawn 3 and then lost 1. They are sitting 12th on the league table, and as I said, it's not looking good for Diego Simeone and his men. I think the management in there should do something about the the hierarchy of the coach in there. Okay, let's look at the next league. The next league we are going to talk about is the Italian Serie A. So the Italian Serie A too, we had some interesting games over the weekend, and some of the games we had over the weekend. Let's look at some of the results that did happen over the weekend. So you had Inter Milan winning 2-1 against Sassuolo. You had um, Fiorentina also losing at home, which is surprising, to Como. Como, I think they are doing good this season. You have Cremonese drawing 0-0 to Parma. There is Lazio losing at home to AS Roma. Udinese losing to AC Milan. Let's see who were the scorers in that game. Udinese playing at home to AC Milan, but they did lost at home. In that game, you had Christian Pulisic, Fofana, and then Christian Pulisic again on the score line. So AC Milan did win that game against Udinese over the weekend. Okay, and other games in the Serie A as well. We do have a moment. We do have Yes, we do have Torino losing at home to Atlanta with a goal coming in from the Ghanaian winger Kamaldeen Sulemana in that game. Okay, so on the league standings in the Serie A, it's looking so hot in the Serie A. Yes, it's looking so hot for most of the teams. Some of the teams that we are expecting to be up there, yes, they are performing. You do have, um, you do have Juventus on top of the league table. They have won 4. Sorry, they have won 3, and then they have drawn 1 with 10 points. Napoli, they have a game outstanding. I think they are going to be playing today. They have won all their 3 games. So if they are to get a win or even a draw, they are going to go above Juventus here. AC Milan are third on the league, and yes, that's what I want to see. AC Milan, they are third on the table. They have won 3 and then they have drawn 1. AS Roma have also won 3. They are fourth on the league table and then they have drawn 1. Atlanta are fifth. They have won 4. And then, sorry, they have won 2 and then lost 2 in there. So that is it for the Italian Serie A. And now we'll delve into the German Bundesliga. In the German Bundesliga, we do have some interesting games too that did happen over the weekend. And as usual, Bayern Munich did win their game. It's non-negotiable. Yes, you do expect Bayern Munich to win after they beating Chelsea. There's nothing other than a win that is going to happen for them in the Bundesliga, because in the Bundesliga it's like it's always a one horse race. No other team comes close to them, but they are looking at performing better in Europe rather than in their league, because they have dominated their league for quite some time now, and this time around it is in Europe that they want to dominate. So you had Borussia Dortmund playing earlier on, um, where they won 1-0 against Wolfsburg, and then also Bayern Leverkusen drawing 1-1 to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Leipzig winning 3-1 against Cologne. Leipzig have sold most of their players, but they are still able to get wins in there in Germany. You have Hoffenheim losing at home 4-1 to Bayern Munich, as always expected. And then on you also had Werder Bremen losing at home to Freiburg. So that is it for the German Bundesliga. You do have the standings whereby in the German Bundesliga, you have the Bayern Munich, the Bavarians, leading the pack with 4 games played and 4 wins so far. They are 12 points. And Borussia Dortmund always coming in second. They are playing second fiddle all the time. They have won 3 out of 4 games and then drawn one, so they have 3 points. Leipzig are third. They have won 3 and then lost 1 game um, with 9 points. And then you have Cologne winning 2, drawing 1, and then losing 1. Okay, so that's going to be for it for today. We don't have much. It's going to be a wrap on this episode of Ralph on VAR. Thanks for watching. All I want you to do is to like this page, like this channel, subscribe to this channel, and then put us on post notification. And don't forget to share to your friends so that we can grow the community. As I always do say, we'll be bringing you excerpts, we'll be bringing you fans' perspective during the 2026 World Cup here in Canada, the US, and then Mexico as well. So stay tuned as we bring you all that is to do when it comes to soccer or football. See you on the next episode.
Come back to get it, and then waltzes past 2, and thumps the left foot. They are unbelievably smooth in their movement. This is Maradona, and he gets the ball through. Caniggia!